Hey, what's up everyone? It's SkullCrusher here, and it is Saturday, May the 12th, 2018, and man, do I have a crazy Rainmaker attack to show you. I actually called this one the crazy Rainmaker defend base setup because nonetheless, this base setup, wow. So even before we jump right into it, I just want you to see the initial layout here. So this base right here screams Rainmaker defend. Pretty much send them at me. The grappler and the shock blaster setup there makes it a little bit difficult, but the one thing that I did have to my advantage was the fact that the boom cannons were all placed around the core like that, minus the one right up front, and then of course the shock launcher, the shock blaster and the grappler. But if we look at the range of the grappler, if we look at the range of the shock blaster, it only reaches just past the beach. And the grappler itself literally only reaches the beach right there. So guys, we still have the 50% gunboat energy boost, and I am boosted my gunboat energy masterpiece and my two 17% gunboat energy guardians. We're also boosted our troop damage as well. So to start things off, guys, I think I'm going to show you here. So I dropped all my Rainmakers on the left side of the beach here, and then I think I still had about 90-ish gunboat energy left. So at this point I just decided to use all the gunboat energy I had, or at least a good majority of it, on that grappler. And as you can see, I think it was about 2 barrages and 4 artillery. I realized it wasn't enough, so 5. So 2 barrage and 5 artillery. So at this point, if we pause it, you can see that I think I still have all my Rainmakers, and we are just getting in range of that shock blaster. So we are already taking fire from not 1, but 2 rocket launchers. Just out of range out of the 3rd. We are still out of range of the shock launcher on the right, and still out of range on the shock launcher on the left. Just almost in range of that shock blaster. So let's continue this, guys. So at this point, we're going to pause it here. I realized that the shock blaster had turned, and you can actually see it almost fired its first shock, but that little blue football looking thingy pretty much right in between the cannon and the shock blaster was my shock. So as soon as that shock blaster turned, because I realized that my Rainmakers were in range, I threw the first shock, and as you can see, we successfully shocked the shock launcher on the left and that shock blaster. So at this point, I think I still had enough for one more shock, and we were in range of the shock launcher and the shock blaster. So I was putting my faith in the Rainmakers here to finish off the shock launcher on the left and the shock blaster. So right as the shock starts to run out at the end, we finish off that shock blaster. So now if we pause it, guys, you can see we are almost losing 2 Rainmakers on the left flank. We're going to pull back here for a second, and we are still out of range of that shock launcher on the right. So as the attack continues, and I will start to speed it up here, boom. So we start to be in range of that shock launcher on the left there. As you can see, the Rainmaker just makes it into range, and it fires. So at this point, I realized that I had already lost a Rainmaker, so I decided to use Dr. Kavan's second wind. And I was really hoping that second wind would bring back a Rainmaker, but it didn't. Just adding all the additional riflemen actually added a little extra to my attack here, because essentially it kept all of the flamethrowers, machine guns, snipers, and boom cannons distracted. So as the attack continues here, it was just pretty much Rainmakers doing what they do best, and that is raining mortars. I did have enough gunboat energy for one more second wind, and as you can see, it was still riflemen. We were able to bring back a medic, which I think is kind of cool there, but at this point it is useless, so we will speed it up to ×4, and at this point I am just waiting for enough gunboat energy, I think, to take out this machine gun for one more second wind, because I really wanted to bring back that Rainmaker. And as you can see, we did take out the sniper instead of the machine gun, but it was just enough gunboat energy to generate one more second wind. and it was enough just to bring in some more riflemen to add some extra firepower to bring down the base. So guys, we did have a level 3 shield gen, 4 ice, with 2 of them being boosted, and I think a pretty fantastic Rainmaker attack. So there you guys have it. Let me know what you think. Like the video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. SkullCrusher is out. Peace.